Hello, I'm the Irish guy, and right, so today I'm going to tell you something you don't want to hear. Okay. I'm joining football day. Okay, no, obviously not. No, today I'm going to go through every Premier League club and find the one player who does not want to play for you anymore. Oh, they want to leave you as soon as possible? On second thoughts, this seems a bit mean. This feels like I'm down the pub and trying to tell that old feeble man in the corner that his wife wants to run off with the postman instead. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Eddie Nketiah. Finally, it has taken Eddie Nketiah until he has turned the age of 25 to finally show signs that actually,
yeah, maybe I do want to leave Arsenal.
Because up until this point, trying to scrape Nketiah out of the Emirates, it was a bit like trying to convince your annoying sister to go and live in a pig pen. This kid was clearly such a home bird, a man of routine and home comforts, that even a move a couple of miles down the road to Crystal Palace was clearly too scary for the guy, repeatedly saying no. So the fact he's now agreed to go and live in France, agreeing personal terms with Marseille? De Zerbi promised to make him the next Drogba? When we all know that poor old Nketiah has the upper body strength of a spider's granddad. The guy is somehow still on crazy £100,000 a week wages, which is bonkers. What, does Eddie have secret photographs of Ayew kissing cows on his phone? So I can only imagine that Marseille must have offered him Aubameyang's vacant £125,000 a week wage from last season, which is not so fair play, Nketiah. Exciting move. It is a talented dressing room, but once this does go through, here's a bit of advice. There's a certain couple who, if they invite you out for a double date in public, just say no. I've heard Højbjerg's wife chews with her mouth open. Well, who did you think I was talking about? Aston Villa, John Duran. John Duran wants out. And can you blame it? A very obvious Aston Villa bench-warming centre-forward who has been promised a lucrative move to London this summer. Christ above, he had both Chelsea and West Ham sniffing around him. So this guy has probably spent his summer holidays scouring London mansions on Rightmove. The fact that both clubs have now backed out of a deal, with West Ham targeting Nicholas Füllkrug instead, someone who, I'm sorry, he does look like a German hillbilly. Would not be surprised to see him sporting mutton chops in his face next year. Duran is so hell-bent on a move to London that he actually went on an Instagram live stream in front of 1,000 people and he randomly crossed his arms like an iron. Now, maybe the fans are reading too much into it. Maybe he just crossed his arms because he was bored. I mean, isn't that the whole reason he was on Instagram? He was hardly doing something exciting and fulfilling like fighting tigers in his kitchen. But still, I think we can all agree that JD wants out. Bournemouth, Dominic Solanke. Look, I actually think Dominic Solanke is happy at Bournemouth. Everyone seems to be an Andoni Iraola side. No one really wants to leave, but Spurs are actively exploring a move for him this month. And come on, as a 26-year-old centre-forward who didn't make England's Euro 2024 squad despite a 19-goal Premier League season, 15 more than Ivan Toney, by the way. This reminds me of when Darren Bent banged in 18 goals in a Premier League season for Charlton Athletic, and he still didn't get taken to the World Cup. So what did he do? He secured himself a high-profile move to Spurs. Okay, to be fair, it didn't really work. He was only ever capped by England twice whilst playing for Tottenham, but still, I reckon Solanke wants the same career progression. Brentford, Ivan Toney. Well, this is blatantly obvious. We've known that Ivan Toney has been wanting out of Brentford for months, but to be fair, to him and his agent's credit, they haven't actually kicked up a fuss at all. There's been no transfer requests, no egotistical outcries in the media. They've been very well behaved. Well done, Ivan. I'm impressed. Brighton, Billy Gilmour. Okay, I don't know this for sure, but I'm adding the clues together, and surely Billy Gilmour is hoping for a Brighton exit this month because Napoli have already come knocking on Brighton's door. They have had an £8 million bid rejected for this 23-year-old Scottish midfielder, and I'm sorry, but who would you rather play for? A complete footballing legend, a serial winner like Antonio Conte, someone who took over a dull, going nowhere fast Inter Milan and turned them into Serie A champions within 2 years? Conte is such a perfect fit to step into Napoli's collapse after winning the league because he has done this all before. Napoli just went from title winners to finishing 10th in the league. Yeah, that was the exact same situation Conte was given at Chelsea. He was given what was still the bulk of a title-winning squad who would embarrassingly slumped to 10th. Conte restored them to champions in his first season, so we could all smell the sniff of a Napoli rebirth. And Gilmour would have idolized Conte whilst he was a Chelsea academy schoolboy. So come on, wouldn't he rather play for this Italian legend, somebody who was trying to win the 10th Serie A of his football career? Wouldn't he rather play for Conte than some 31-year-old kiddie coach who's more hipster than a strawberry pizza? Chelsea, Conor Gallagher. Is Conor Gallagher still at Chelsea? Because I'm expecting to see him quit Stamford Bridge any second now. This man has been treated horribly. A man who's been at Chelsea since 2008. He has worked his way into the first team, was given the captain's armband. He played 50 times last season, and yet Chelsea City, oh, they want him sold. He has rejected a 3-year contract. And of course he has. Because it's about as insulting as if Todd Bowley had personally told him that his mum looks like a goblin. Because Kieran Dewsbury Hall is an absolutely vanilla milk sandwich who is older than Gallagher. And yet he's been giving a stonking 6-year deal. A contract that will take him until he's nearly 32. Gallagher's potential new deal would still leave him unemployed at 27. It's crazy. Anyway, Chelsea have accepted a £33 million offer from Atletico Madrid. So honestly, Gallagher, just take the Spanish move and run. Crystal Palace, Jordan Ayew. Look, you were probably all expecting to see Ebreki Eze make this list, but to be fair, the guy might well have ambitions of getting himself a better team to keep himself in the England squad. But he hasn't actually made a peep. So for this one, I think Jordan Ayew is far more likely to quit Crystal Palace this month, because the big story this week is that Leicester City are trying to sign him, and Palace are open to a sale. Chucking the fact that Palace also wrapped up a deal for a long-term target is made a Sarr, and surely Ayew is happy to secure a move to the club who only 7 years ago were in the Champions League. Come on, this is someone who finished bottom of the league in his debut season with Aston Villa, the very same campaign where Leicester won the league. If you had told him then and there, during his miserable time at Villa Park, where he was probably nauseated by all the coaches treating Grealish like a prince, honestly, some of them would have probably happily agreed to wipe his bum on the loo. If you had told Ayew that Leicester City would come knocking one day, no way is he saying no. Fulham Willian. Is Willian still at Fulham? Or not? This man is out of contract at Craven Cottage after rejecting a new deal. Clearly still annoyed by the fact that he wasn't allowed his money bags moved to the Saudi Pro League a year ago. I mean, weirdly, Juventus have also been monitoring his situation too. I don't know if this one counts. I don't know if Willian is still at Fulham or if he's already gone. But either way, if Fulham are still trying to get him to sign a new contract, I think it's clear he wants nothing more to do with them. Ipswich Town, nobody. Yeah, pretty simple. Nobody wants out of Ipswich Town. Why would they? They're living an absolute fairy tale. Leicester City, Mats Hermansen. Okay, nobody really wants to leave Leicester City either. And I'm not saying that the Danish goalkeeper Mats Hermansen is actively wanting out. No, of course not. But we just saw a homegrown Kieran Dewsbury Hall, a boyhood Leicester fan who's been in their academy since 2006. We have seen him happily ditch Leicester City to follow his manager into a swanky move to Chelsea. So when Enzo Maresca wanted to bring the Leicester City goalie with him to Stamford Bridge, do you really think this 24-year-old Danish goalie was going to turn that down? Do you really think he'd refuse to move to Chelsea to show loyalty to Leicester? No. The move only collapsed because Leicester were holding out for £45 million. That's the only reason it collapsed. I think Mads would have moved to Chelsea in a heartbeat. Liverpool, Joe Gomez. Well done, Liverpool. You have managed to embarrass the life out of Joe Gomez. A few months ago, this man probably felt like a confident king at Anfield. The guy had forced his way into the defense as a fullback. Jurgen Klopp was publicly telling Southgate to put him in his England squad for Euro 2024. And Southgate happily obliged. Price above, Gomez played over 50 games for Liverpool last season. That is crazy considering he ended the previous campaign by spending 8 of the last 9 Premier League matches sitting on the bench without even being asked to come on as a sub. And even when he did get his long-awaited chance on the final day, he played centre-back as relegated Southampton scored 4. You would not have been shocked to see Gomez sold to Wimbledon for a bag of walnuts and a packet of Haribo. But now, Liverpool have ruined his mood because apparently it's come out they offered him to Newcastle United this summer in the most ludicrous swap deal. Remember when FSG were shocked and appalled that Arsenal thought it was appropriate to bid 40 million plus £1 for Luis Suarez in 2013? Well, this offer is arguably even worse. Liverpool actually thought they could lure Anthony Gordon out of Newcastle for £30 million and a Gomez. Yeah, I mean, the reports say that the Magpies valued Gordon at 70 mil, which is already surprising because 23-year-old England international winger who's already played Champions League football and just ripped it up with a 12-goal season, isn't that what £100 million gets you these days? But yeah, Newcastle's value was a reasonable 70 mil. So Liverpool decided that Gomez was apparently worth £45 million and so tossed him into that swap deal. Look, I know they're both ignored by Southgate at Euro 2024 and probably spent every afternoon crying on each other's shoulders whilst feeding each other custard creams. But no, nobody is ever paying £45 million for a 27-year-old Gomez who has never ever scored a single goal in his life. Anyway, after this story broke, Gomez is now considering his options. You've heard his feelings? Man City Ederson. Well, it's pretty simple. Manchester City's #1 goalkeeper Ederson, an absolute serial winning Premier League star. He's already agreed personal terms with Al Ittihad in the Saudi Pro League. There's no coming back from that. This tattooed goalie, someone who looks like the 4th member of N-Dubs, he clearly wants that bag. I still don't know why he's only on £100,000 a week at City. Being paid the same Premier League wages as Tyrone Mings, he only gets paid 10% more than his goalkeeping understudy, whose job description consists of what? Eating donuts on the bench and maybe saving the day against Spurs once a season? It's wild. Man United, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has already agreed personal terms with West Ham. This deal is 90% done. A year ago, the big transfer saga was whether Harry Maguire would join West Ham, but he never, ever agreed to go. But Wan-Bissaka is pretty happy that, yeah, 5 years at Old Trafford is enough for him. He is probably sick of the disrespect. Don't forget, when he joined in a £60 million deal from Crystal Palace, he was seen as an utter wonder kid of a right back. An old school 90s throwback of a rock solid defender. Yeah, 160 games for Manchester United later, and he's still not been given an England cap. And ever since he joined, people have been just screaming that he's just some horrible, bruising, one-dimensional defender that belongs at Millwall in 2002. Not Manchester United now. So yeah, he's sick of it, and he's happy to go back to London. Newcastle Kieran Trippier. Kieran Trippier has worried Newcastle fans because this guy is apparently gone on holiday alone to Dubai, where he's put up a picture on Instagram posing alongside his mate Thomas Spring, who just happens to be the chief scout at Al Ettifaq. He even posted a caption that read, "Good meeting." Well, that wasn't very clever. Is social media making footballers more and more dense? If you are going to get tapped up by a football club, then do it in private without letting the world know. I mean, can you imagine it back in 2005? Ashley Cole had uploaded a photo to MySpace of him as an Arsenal defender eating chocolate muffins with Mourinho in a hotel bathroom. Anyway, I think Trippier's head was massively turned by Bayern Munich interest in January. I think the Newcastle right back was absolutely pining for that Bundesliga move. And yeah, now the Bayern Munich option is over, sure, but once your head has been turned once, at the age of 33, and after a horrendous second half of the season for Newcastle, then what? I mean, is he really going to turn down a £400,000 a week deal to play for Stevie G? Let's be honest. He wants to go. Nottingham Forest Matt Turner. Surely Matt Turner needs to quit Nottingham Forest. What must the American fans think of this? He's the undisputed USA #1 and he doesn't get a sniff of Premier League action after a pretty miserable £10 million switch from Arsenal a year ago. Lads, the USA have always prided themselves on producing goalkeepers who rack up insane numbers in the Premier League. Sort it out. Southampton Kyle Walker-Peters. Look, I don't know what goes on inside the brain of Kyle Walker-Peters, but he's a talented 27-year-old right back who's not getting any younger. And come on, this is somebody who played for England twice 2 years ago. West Ham will be sniffing around this former Spurs man, offering him a return to London. He's home. And let's be real, you're probably going to have a better chance of improving your game and being noticed by the next England gaffer by, playing under a former Real Madrid coach in Julian Lopetegui instead of, the former MK Dons boss Russell Martin. Tottenham Jed Spence. Jed Spence's time at Tottenham has been an utter nightmare. Ever since this talented right back was promoted from the Championship Nottingham Forest, he looked like he had the ego of a pop star. He turned up at Spurs in a £20 million deal, he signs a 5-year contract, and has stepped on the pitch for Spurs 6 times. This man who turns 24 years old next week, and his Premier League career so far consists of 5 minutes on the pitch. Yeah, 3 of his 4 Premier League appearances have been 1 minute long. The other appearance, he was given a generous 2. That's it. And he's also been loaned to Rennes, Leeds and Genoa. I thought this kid was going to be another top English right back who was going to give Southgate even more of a selection headache. But no, he's got about as much chance of playing for England as I do of growing a gingerbread man up my nose. Of course he must want to leave. West Ham Lucas Paqueta. Look, this isn't anything against West Ham. I just think Lucas Paqueta is done with English football. Look, the Brazilian playmaker clearly showed last summer that the Hammers are not his end game because he was inching towards a move to Man City after just 1 season in London. And this summer, Flamengo have asked to take him back on loan. Usually when random obscure clubs from Brazil come sniffing around big name Premier League footballers in their 20s, it's usually because they've already been given the green light by the player. Like when Robinho left Man City for Santos on loan when he was still only 26. West Ham have blocked the move, but I reckon Paqueta, he was all set for a return to Brazil just so he could escape all the noise. I mean, probably not the best look though if he legitimately flees Europe. Wolves Fabio Silva. Pretty simple. Fabio Silva has told the media that he wants out of Wolves this summer. Yes, this ridiculous £35 million signing from Porto. He has done utterly nothing in a Wolves shirt. Are we totally sure he's actually a footballer? Are we sure he's not secretly running a YouTube channel with 7s in the title? Anyway, after a pretty weak loan spell at Rangers last season, yeah, this 22-year-old Portuguese wonder kid, he has no Wolves future. Nor does he want one. Anyway, that's the video. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Am I wrong? Am I right? Let me know. What players do you think want to leave your club in the comments? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. As always, I'll talk shit a while.